guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs and welcome to the Premier Division preview show. Philip and Cian are here today. Delighted to see Cian back. How are you getting on?
How are you, bud? All right. You've done a great job, I have to say. I enjoyed watching it. I don't see them back. I never watch myself back. So I enjoy watching the two of us just talk, and it's something different. So I might go away more often.
Plenty of disagreements, I'm sure. But anyway, we'll motor on. Now, Derry City take on Waterford at the Brandywell at the weekend. That's on a Friday evening as well. The last time they faced, actually, Waterford won this fixture. But Derry, I was saying in the review show, Cian, as well, that Derry haven't won at home this season, which is actually mad to think about. So they're going into this game hoping for a home win. They had a signing today. They signed Jamie McGonigal from Crusaders on a 3.5-year contract, which is just for a League of Ireland club. I just think it's mental, really. And allegedly, they paid close to 40,000 for him as well, because they actually rejected Crusaders a bid of 25,000 from Coleraine, I believe, and they wanted near to 40. So I'd say Derry would have paid near enough that region anyway. So an interesting signing, 10 goals this season from the wing, but he can play up front as well. I suppose we'll start off there, Cian. What do you make of that signing in general? It's a statement signing anyway. Whether he does well or not is another thing.
Well, that's the thing, like, people look at these signings and people say, geez, you paid for him, he must be decent. When they're expecting him to transform Derry City, that's not going to happen. He's not going to transform the whole club. They're going in the right direction. He's going to add to it. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders now by the looks of it. Considering there's a lot, considering the money, and he possibly will be on high-ish wages. And I know Derry don't really pay high wages, but I'd say be one of the top earners at the club for Derry. But look, it looks to be a great signing. 3.5-year deal. Parkhouse got a 3-year deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When he signed as well. So it's good to see long contracts and players staying in and around the club for 3 years. Look, everything has to go to plan for this to happen. For example, I think probably the last player the club actually paid for was Pats and Martin Rennie, and he was possibly, I won't
drink any of that yet in case I spill it while you're talking about that particular
one. He was possibly the worst player that we've ever seen on Pat's shirt. So just because you paid for a player, or just because he's on top wage, it doesn't mean he's going to be a great player. He's a great prospect. I don't know too much about him, but since I seen him linked with Derry and stuff, I was looking at him, and look, he looks lively. He looks like he's going to do a job, and I think Derry are crying out for that type of player. So look, hopefully it's a good fit, and the best of luck to him.
What do you make about it, Philip?
Yeah, it was there was a bit of a discussion about it the past few days, Keith, and I suppose we've been chatting with a couple of Derry fans that I have been over the past couple of weeks, and they're quite optimistic about it. And I suppose, why wouldn't you be? There's a lot going on at Derry at the minute in terms of transition. And I suppose a big thing that we haven't spoke about, Keno's made a couple of points about the pressure that's being put on him. I think there's even more pressure now with the fact that Patchin's going back to Dundalk. That's kind of another thing that will end up not on his shoulders completely, but there will be a big factor about it, because if they're paying a fee for them, they're going to expect a return straight away, which is fair enough. As we said, it doesn't happen often when money is involved in transfers. So I do hope for the lad that he hits the ground running, because as it says, it's something that Derry have probably not been able to do for a long time, and the fact that they're doing it now is making a big statement. And I suppose there's other uncertainties about it. They're not guaranteed Europe next year. Do you know what I mean? So it's a big gamble. When you look at it and the financial position that they're in, obviously they're comfortable enough to do it now, but you wouldn't think that these types of signings could continue if there was to be no progression in the next 12 to 18 months, and even at that as a push. I think that they'll want an instant turnaround of their look. Of course, they've been doing well the past few weeks, but before that it was pretty abysmal. So look, interesting enough. Hopefully it goes well for them, and not too much success, but enough to keep them going.
Jamie Maskell and obviously Adam O'Reilly, Keane, have gone back. They're big, particularly Adam O'Reilly. I think it's a massive blow for Waterford. I know they're going to get one or two players in, it's a fact, but he was performing and just starting to gel into the side. Much of a blow is that going into this game for them against Derry City? Obviously, Patchin as well, gone back to Dundalk, as Philip reference there.
Yes, you say it's a big loss and stuff. These were planned. These players knew they were going back. You know, the managers, everything, the club, they know these players are going back. So they will have replacements lined up. It's literally just that week that you're probably without them. You might sign them again. You don't know. But it's that week of when, like, he goes and then the window opens. So you have 1 week without them. So or without even a replacement for them from another club. So you know that there will be lots of ins and outs at Waterford. I would say a lot of them loanee players will probably go back. Obviously, two you named, but I would say possibly more can go back because it's very strange to get them.
I think Cameron Evans is on loan, and as far as I know, he's definitely staying, which is a good thing. But that was a year contract, so season contract. So
yeah, so it's strange that we actually have a lot of players that are staying the year. Usually, it is only the 6 months, so it's good to see. And look, they will be getting some ins and outs. That they are going to miss them this weekend. There's no doubt, and Derry are obviously going to miss Patchin. But look, that was the deal. They knew this was happening, so I'm looking forward to seeing maybe next week or the week after, see who they bring in to replace them, or see if they can actually go and sign them. Maybe, I don't know.
So who are you saying who's going to win this match, Keane?
Yes. I'll go Derry.
Derry. Philip? No home win yet for Derry. It's going to be the first.
Yeah, I'm going to go draw. I just think the fact Patchin's gone now, you know what I mean? It's like we've seen they did struggle, you know, and that was the last couple of weeks. It's kind of results kind of haven't gone their way completely. Like they've picked up points in games, but like you can just see maybe they're starting to struggle a bit now. So I'm going to call a draw on this. I just think Waterford might struggle as well, but I think there'll be a bit less expectation on Waterford coming into this game. I think that might give them a chance to surprise a few people.
I'll go for Derry to get their first home win of the season. I think the losses are a bit more difficult for Waterford, if I'm honest with you. Moving on to the head of the game, Park. Drogheda United take on Finn Harps. This was a draw the last time they met. Only 6 points between them in the table, Keane. You feel like there's more because of the form. Finn Harps have been on like 2 wins in 14. Drogheda will be happy enough with that performance and draw in Tallaght Stadium against Shamrock Rovers. So this is an opportunity maybe Drogheda will feel to get back on the winning trail, perhaps, I think.
Yeah, it's a massive game for them. Look, if Finn Harps win it, the gap is gone, really. You know, and all of a sudden, like I say it all the time, like we're commending Drogheda for how well they're playing, and look, I'm a top fan of them, and I think they're brilliant. For example, I'll say, like, you're looking at Dundalk and the amount of giving out that we're doing, especially, and everyone's doing about Dundalk and the turmoil that they're in, and how good Derry are doing since Higgins came in. And now look where Dundalk and Derry are in the table. So I think it's that's what I'm saying. It's like that when you put it into perspective, whatever that word is, like that. I think it'd be a good one. I don't know what that word is. I tried to come out with a posh word that perspective, isn't it? That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, good man. I'll into your core vocabulary.
So when you put it into like that, and you're saying to yourself, like, Drogheda are doing really well, but Finn Harps aren't actually doing that bad. You know, Finn Harps would be delighted with the start of the season that they had in the first round of games, especially because they could have been in a little bit of trouble now with the form that they're in. But Drogheda again pick up 3 points, and you know you're building on that point against Rovers. There's no point to them not picking up 3 points here after Drogheda and Tally, you know. There's no point to that, so they need to back it up, and I think all the pressure is actually on Drogheda in this game for me.
Philip?
Keano's pretty much said it all, I think. To be honest with you, I'm right with him. From his perspective, he is correct. I think Finn Harps are really struggling at the minute. And yeah, look, I just think that Drogheda are just starting to put another couple of rounds of results together, and I think this is probably another one. You know, Finn Harps are still missing a few players. Last week, I suppose Webster and all playing through an injury. I still think that's the case. I don't think many of them are back just yet. From what I've been looking at, So yeah, I'm going to just keep it short and simple here, Keith. I'm going to go Drogheda to win the game. I go quite comfortably, actually. I'm going to go 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, I think Brown's actually expected to be back for this game. He had a stomach issue, but wasn't as bad as first feared. Yeah, it is interesting because if Finn Harps can get a win here, suddenly they're 3 points behind Drogheda, you know, and Drogheda could be displaced by Dundalk as an example, kind of like what Keane was saying there. But, you know, Drogheda's expectations and Dundalk's would be very, very different. So as such, Drogheda are doing well, Dundalk aren't doing well. That said, I think Drogheda, I think they're going to win the game. I think it's going to be tight, though. Rarely give Finn Harps a hammering, to be fair. It rarely happens. Every once in a blue moon as such. But yeah, Drogheda for me. On to the big Dublin derby, I suppose, at Daleyman Park. Bohemians take on St. Patrick's Athletic. And obviously, Bohemians had a poor outing last time out. They're currently 8 points behind Pats, Shamrock Rovers and Sligo. Pats have beaten them twice already this season. 2 very tight games. The last one in particular had 2 goals in the last 2 minutes or so, didn't it? 2 penalties actually, Devoy for Bowes, and then Robbie Benson got one for Pats actually. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Like as I said, when things are going well for Bowes, I think they look a very, very nice and tidy team, good football inside. I do question when things are going against them. Keane, where do you stand on all that?
I was just delighted to hear all that thing about Pats, how good they were at the last couple of games against Bowes, to be honest. Just really, like, Pats obviously have the upper hand this season in the games, and, you know, that's 2 wins from 2, albeit, you know, people say we got a bit of luck in the last game with the penalties and stuff like that, but considering Pats were actually ahead before the ref gave a penalty, there shouldn't have been a penalty. I think justice was served, and we rightly won the game in the end. That was a mental game. That was probably one of my favourite games.
But Keane, was that another example of kind of what I have been saying with Bowes, that, like, you know, when you score a penalty to go level a minute to go, you shouldn't be losing the game, like.
No, like, you shouldn't be. But
fucking refereeing.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, to be honest. That was just a mad game. We didn't know what was happening. But
yeah, Hennessy had a stinker.
Yeah, it was.
Favourite ref, Philip, isn't he?
I can't bloody stand him. Seriously, boils me blood. Whenever I see him that he's doing a Rovers game, I nearly just don't want to watch it. Like, so sorry, Keane, for jumping in there. Just had to mention that.
All right, good.
He's a dreadful referee.
Yeah, no, I was saying that, like, Pats obviously have the upper hand, and Pats would be the team coming into this that would be expecting to win the game now, and that hasn't been the case for years coming up against Bowes, like, you know. So it's a tough place to go. It really is. There was nothing between the sides the last time we played there. You know, there was literally a corner, and we got Ronan Coughlin around the end, but it wasn't even for him. It was actually for Sam Brown at the back post, but he just put his head in it and went in. And luckily enough, we won the game. But I think that's the difference between Pats and Bowes this year. Like, we've probably played well in about 6-7 games, maybe. Or even 5, probably even less, and we've grinded out results, and we've won games 1-0, and, you know, we've drew games, and I think that says it all for me. And I don't think Bowes are doing that. You know, Bowes are the best football inside in the league when they're on their form with the way they play, and Devoy and Tierney when they're in full flow. And in fairness to them, they were in full flow against Sligo, and they were bouncing the ball around fairly well. It reminded me of a kids' game the weekend. In terms of, like, you know, you're losing 5-0, but, you know, you can get back into this. That's what it felt like. It really felt like Bowes could actually get back into it.
It felt like until Sligo got the 3rd goal, it felt like the game was still there, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Bowes were fantastic in the game. That's the problem. They're fantastic in losing. Pats this year aren't great and winning. Or aren't great and drawing, like against Waterford. You know, we dug in for 70 minutes and got the point, like, you know, and I don't think Bowes would have got that point. So that's the difference for me between the two sides. Bowes can turn around, and I'm praying they don't turn around against Pats here, but I'm gonna go for a Pats win here. I think they'll have enough, and they'll have enough in the middle. They'll have enough firepower in them to go and get the win. Like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of chances.
You think Ronan Coughlin be back? If you heard anything, or
I'm not 100% sure on Row, but
okay.
I've a feeling that Pats will get 2 or 3 chances in the game, and that's all. And I've a feeling that Pats will put one away. I'm confident that Pats will put one away. I'm not that confident Bowes will put one away. And Bowes will probably have more chances than Pats.
Yeah,
it might be a snatch and grab game, but I think Pats will win it.
I think that's a fair point, Philip. I've seen games this season where Bowes have played well and drawn, let's say, or even lost, which is, it's never a good sign, I don't think. Like, you know, when they're going well, they look very good, as I said. They beat Drogheda 5-0, for example. You know, the other day there, then they lost 4-0 to Sligo in the space of a couple of weeks. Like, you know, it's not great. As Keane said, Pats have dug out results this season where they haven't been great, but have still got a draw, maybe, or a win, including against Bohemians, actually, as well, haven't they, in fairness? And that's the difference, I think, this season, maybe with Pats and Bohemians. At the moment, that said, Bowes could turn it on, as Keane says, and win the game. But how do you see it overall?
No, I suppose I kind of thought about this game, Keith, for a while after I looked at the fixtures there the other day. I just think if you put down on paper a 1-11 of both of these sides, I think you'd have a majority Pats, to be honest with you. I personally think that they're just they're doing a lot better than Bowes, as you said, about with results. But I just think individual quality, I think Pats have a lot more, and I don't think they've shown that yet this year. As you said, they've only played really, really well in 6 or 7 games, and I think there's a lot more potential there, you know, with the likes of the experienced players that you've got there. I think there's more to come from the likes of Benson, you know what I mean? And I think Rowe as well, Rowe Coughlin is doing well enough, so I don't see why, there's no reason why he can't get a little bit more out of it. But Bowes, again, I don't know, I just think when teams come to give them a real good game, I don't think they can deal with it, you know, and I think that showed there. Yeah, got in their faces, got real nitty gritty, and I suppose when they're put under pressure, they just don't seem to deal quite well with it, you know. And as I said about the individual mistakes last week, the likes of Talbot, a couple of defensive mistakes as well. I think that this is something that Pats would really exploit, to be honest with you, you know. And I think Keno said it as well there. I think it might have been you said that if it was Bowes and Waterford, they probably wouldn't have got the result. I completely agree with that, you know.
It's actually Keane, but I'd agree with him.
Yeah, I just think they're spineless, to be honest with you, when it comes to defensive discipline and the quality that they have at the back, you know. So yeah, no, I know as you don't try to be too optimistic, but I think Pats are going to be comfortable here on the night.
Well, that said, Keane did tip them to win, so I'm going to go for a draw, because if I go for Pats to win, there's no way they're going to win if the three of us say they're going to win. So I'm going for a draw. I went for Pats to win last week and they didn't win either. So it's all psychological stuff with me. Pats win. Shamrock Rovers on Dundalk at Dallas Stadium. Now, this is an interesting game, actually, because the last time they met, actually, Dundalk won, and people are saying there's no chance. I was the same. I think differently with this one, actually. As you've said in the last few weeks, Philip, Shamrock Rovers seem to be, I don't know, going through the motions in general, not being at their best, lack of proper creativity in the team. Dundalk have been okay in their last 2 games. Look more of a team, haven't they, Keane? They've dug out results. Overall, how do you see this one, Keane?
Yeah, this is a game that I'm excited for. And I said at the last round of games he actually played, this was the fixtures as well.
Yeah.
And he was saying how disappointed I am that they're not televising Pats and Bowes at 6:05 or whatever it is, and then Dundalk and Rovers after it. Like, you know, what a missed opportunity.
Now, it doesn't help, I suppose, to have the Euros this time, but they didn't the last time, and they had the same set of fixtures. So yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Look, it's such a shame. Or even, you know, like, I know a lot of people even don't buy the €79 package and watch all the games. You know, they probably buy the Rovers game or buy, you know, the Pats game once every 5 or each week and all. So maybe if they done a deal where you're getting 2 games or, you know, something for it, I think people would watch it, because this is going to be a great game as well. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than possibly we would have guessed at the start of the season. I'm feeling that Dundalk might edge it just on the way Rovers are playing, and Dundalk seem to be coming out of this bad patch now and starting to steady the ship a little. Like we seen there today, I think Giuseppe is just after leaving there, the coach for Dundalk, and I think that's I don't mean to be rude, but I think that's the end of that group now. And it's kind of like Vinnie Peart's group now, and he's going to be getting in his people. So, I think that can only be good for Dundalk. I think Giuseppe done a fantastic job. I believe all the players absolutely loved him and what he's been doing. Like, fair play to him coming over. And in fairness to him, he felt like he did have the club at heart. In fairness to him, so it's never nice to see someone go that actually gave the league and the club that bit of respect that they deserved. So, I do think it's a positive for Dundalk. I was on saying that where Vinny now has an opportunity to bring in who he wants. And, I've a real feeling here that Dundalk can win this game just on the team selection and just on the way Vinny sets up. Like, he has players in there that he knows he can trust. These aren't the players that were playing for Dundalk at the start of the season. Will Patchen now after doing so well, and I think Vinny actually was one of the people behind bringing in Patchen. So, Vinny loves you rate him highly. Vinny loves you had to be watching games. I've seen Vinny at Richmond. I've seen Vinny all around the ground when he wasn't coaching. So he knows the league inside out. So that's why. I know I'm going on here, but now I need to talk about Rovers, don't I?
Actually, Richie Towell, Keane, chance he might be in the squad.
Yeah, Richie's going to be in. Richie's going to be in. I would say he'll get 20 minutes at the end. I'd say it's just minutes into the tank. I can't see him starting. And, being honest, if he does start, I think that shows how big of a mess Shamrock Rovers is right at this minute in time. I still think they should have enough to hold their own in the game against Dundalk without Towell and stuff like that. But, it's funny as it sounds, I don't know where the goals are going to come from. And, that's something that, if we told you this halfway through last season or whatever, you think I'm mad. But I don't know where the goals are going to come from with this Rovers team at the minute. We have strikers playing wing back the weekend. I know they're trying new things, and I get that, and I understand that as a coach. But come on, that's man. In fairness, I never seen Arden Green as a striker. I never rated him as a striker. I said that to you millions of times, Keith. He was at Pats and we had him off on the left. And in fairness, he popped up with some really good goals. But I think someone I just don't know. I was seeing the team selection the other week. And, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I was like, this fella, Arden Green can't be playing left wing back. And he was. And in fairness too, I think Drogheda actually exploited that a little bit in the game. But, we done okay with the ball. But if you're a wing back, you need to be doing it without the ball. So, sorry, I'm going rambling on here, but this is such a big game for both sides. And I think Dundalk win it for me, yeah.
Philip, yeah, it's a huge game for Shamrock Rovers. A few weeks ago, in fairness, Dundalk did beat them a few weeks ago as well, actually. But when they weren't in top form as such. Danny Mandrew, Philip, I was thinking about this the other day. We know the ability he has. We know he can score great goals, etc., etc. He can do things in a split second. But I'm not seeing consistent, creative play from Danny Mandrew.
Yeah, you're dead right. I don't know, Keith, though. Just to be honest with you, I think Keano's dead right with the perspective that he's got. I think he's bang on the money.
Word of the day, perspective.
Well, yeah, no, sorry, that wasn't going at him again. But that's just me. I tend to use that word a lot myself. No, I genuinely, I actually feel that this is going to be the day that Rovers turn around and start pulling away again. And I know that sounds stupid. I'm not trying to be optimistic, but I'm going to explain to you why. If you look back at Rovers, say 6 or 7 games in Tala, not many teams have came and had a really, really good go and have played with the likes of a high line. Dundalk can do that sometimes. And I think the way that Vinny has them playing the past few weeks, I've looked back on a bit of highlights, they're really gone for games. Like as much as they've been in a bit of a rut before he came in, they have been trying to go for games the past couple of weeks. So that's just going to show, do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be something that he's going to do again in the week. So, like, I wouldn't go and rule them out to do the same here. That's why I think Rovers are going to actually open up, and I think they'll be able to play a bit more football, you know. So don't rule out a Rovers result, to be honest. But saying that, like, if you look back over the past few weeks, it hasn't really been good at all. And the likes of Mandrew, it's just completely not happened for him particularly the last 6 or 7 games. I think the last time he's probably contributed to something was that goal in Drogheda, pretty much, you know. I can't think of too much else after. Yeah, Pats, sorry, that was a phenomenal goal as well. Sorry, I didn't want to remind you of that. I didn't think of it, to be honest, but it was a great goal. But since that, he hasn't done that, really. And as I said, I just think Dundalk are going to bring something that other teams haven't brought to Tala, which is probably going to open the game up. Fans in the stadium as well. And I just think the result as well, the last time these two sides played, I think that's going to be something that's going to be sitting on the minds of all the Rovers players this week, and putting one back over them and getting that result corrected. Personally thought that Rovers should have won the game up in Oriel, but missed a few chances, and I think now they've got something to really get themselves rolled up by, because they shouldn't have got beat by that Dundalk side. So I'm not quietly optimistic, because I'm telling you now that I think Rovers are going to win. So yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be a close game. I'm going to call Rovers 2-1, to be honest with you. It is going to be very tight though. Yeah,
at the moment it's hard to see Rovers actually score 2 goals in a game, Philip. That's the way I kind of stand with them. So I think Dundalk will score. Duffy was very good the last day as well. McElhenney as well. So I love when Duffy and McElhenney play well, because they're excellent footballers. Of course, Dundalk, Chris Shields is gone, so I'll be interested to see. Patchin might come straight in. Who knows? Different player, but even so. I'm going to sit in the fence in this one. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm not really too sure who's going to be happy with that, Philip. I don't know if Shamrock Rovers would be even happy with a 1-1 draw, would they?
No, I just don't think so, Keith. I think now, as I said, the spell we've been going through, usually Rovers do this. I've said this before. Rovers do have this spell in the season, regardless of any time. The last couple of times they won the league, they've done it as well. Brought it to the final day when they won it in Bray. So I think it's probably going to be the start now, where they're going to come out of the shell, and they're going to kick on again. I'm just trying to be optimistic as well, if you can see where I'm coming from, Keith, because it has been a bit tough. So, as I said, I'm pulling it out of the bag here and saying that we're going to score 2, which hasn't happened for a while.
Longford take on Sligo Rovers at the City Collins Stadium. Longford only 1 win all season, win their first game of the season. After that big win for Sligo, Keane, it's very difficult to see Sligo not going to Longford and getting a win here, isn't it?
Yeah. I really worry for Longford. I don't think they're playing bad. They're just not picking up results. They're not picking up wins. They're losing late goals, especially Shamrock Rovers. You know, they were 2 big points, and late goals are killing them at this stage. So I don't think Sligo are going to go and batter them now. But I do think Sligo will win it. I think it was a big statement last week for Sligo. You know, knowing that Pats and knowing that Rovers slipped up, to actually go and get yourself back talking. Because like we spoke about 2 weeks ago, Sligo were out of the race again.
They're the favourites again.
Yeah, so, it shows a lot of character from them to go out and batter balls like that. I think Sligo will win it. I don't think it'll be pretty with the pitch and stuff like that. But, I fancy Sligo to win it, and it's going to be one of them dogged results. But I think they'll come out on the right side of it.
Philip, what can Longford do now? I mean, like as Keane says, they're not playing bad. They battle. They do their best every game. As I said, 1 win in 18 is tough. Waterford look like they're going to get better and better as well, by the way, which doesn't help either. What can they do now after 18 matches? What's the mindset for you there for Longford?
I suppose they're going to finish 9th, I think. I think that's it. Like, do you know what I mean? I definitely think they're going to... 10th, 10th. Yeah, 10th. I don't know, Keith. You can just... I think the only way they can look at it is, Keith, we chatted about as well recently in the review show about how they didn't spend too much, do you know what I mean? And they financially will be okay. They can only really take it game by game. And I know that sounds really stupid, like that's what anyone would say, but like you can only try and keep going back to the basics and just walking on a clean sheet and trying to go from there. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't tend to keep clean sheets.
They don't get hammered, as Keane says. They actually don't really get hammered. It's very rarely to get hammered as well. Like,
yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, it's just the lack of quality up front as well. I'm not saying they don't have quality, but I think it's a bit of an experience as well. Do you know what I mean? Maybe 2 or 3 years down the line with the likes of what they've got now, they might, with a bit of wiser heads and a bit more experience, they probably would do a lot better in the league. But just, I think it's probably happened too soon for them, if you know what I mean, coming up. I think another year down in the 4th division would have been absolutely fantastic. But saying that, they were excellent in the 1st division. So, like, you can take nothing away from them, do you know what I mean? Especially when it came towards the end of the season, they really got going. But they've struggled to bring it into the top flight. And look, we've seen many teams do it before and really, really struggle. And it just looks like this is unfortunately another case, like, and hopefully now they can try and be competitive, as I said before, just being competitive in games, which they have been, but keep that going till the end of the season. Don't lose faith, do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it just looks like they've kind of are starting to feel a bit for themselves, which is never good in this league. So, that, and then look, probably just get ready for next season. I'd say behind the scenes, the management team are not looking ahead and saying, look, this has probably gone past what we can do. Now, I'm not saying rule them out that completely. It is likely, let's be honest, but I'd say the management team now are getting ready for the 4th division next year, which is unfortunate. So I think Sligo will win this game quite comfortably. So other than that, there's not really much else you can say about Longford. So yeah, Sligo have been doing well, though, Keith. A good result there against Bows, as we were just chatting about. But it'll be interesting now. I hope Kenny now can get a good few run of games under his belt, and we'll really see what he's like. What a fantastic start. And if he's anything like that, if he can be half as good as he has been in that game against Longford, he'll probably still get a hat-trick. So just keep it going. Hopefully Sligo can keep a bit of momentum going, the title challenge. And we'll see where they go from. Yeah,
I think Sligo 2-0 for me as well. It's impossible to see them not winning this game. I do think for Longford, though, as you said there, if they go down, it's not a disaster. They can still do what they're doing, if you know what I mean, at the club. It's not like some other clubs that go down and suddenly they're big financial trouble. So I think they'll be okay, but it's not over yet. We'll leave it there, guys. Thanks a million. Subscribe, guys. If you're new, hit your bell notification button and let us know what you think in the comments. Like the video. Thanks a million. Perfect. Thanks.